The Elcho Historical Society received a $25,000 grant towards that restoration on Saturday. The Grange building on Highway K has been up since 1911, and in 2019, the building was given to the Historical Society but is in a state of disrepair, with work only continuing if they received funding. Newswatch 12's Kyle Pazorski met up with some members of the society today to give us an update on their project. Kyle?
Thanks, Nate. I'm out here at the Grange building where today Secretary of the group, Debbie Mijak, says the project has taken a long time and a lot of work to receive funding.
I was searching online for grants and I unfortunately didn't find anything. And then I ran into somebody at a pancake breakfast and he mentioned the Remington Foundation.
After Mijak heard about the Elwin Remington Foundation, she decided to give it a try.
And we didn't hear anything for a while. And eventually we heard something at the end of or the middle of February and said we would be considered for their spring meeting.
And good news for the group came Saturday, receiving a $25,000 grant. The Elcho Grange building has been standing since 1911, originally built by the Modern Woodmen of America. And over the last century of standing, the building has been through many hands, but slowly rotting away.
In 2019, we were given a historical building here in the town of Elcho.
Greg Mijak says once complete, the building will be a great resource for the community.
We use it as our future site of the museum that will have to house artifacts and documents of the local area, not just Elcho, but the community.
The group believes the Remington Foundation grant is going to be instrumental in making sure area history is preserved for the next generation. If anyone is interested or wants to contribute to the project, you can contact the Elcho Historical Society by visiting the Town of Elcho's website. Reporting live here in Elcho, Kyle Pazorski, Newswatch 12.
The building is sitting on a solid foundation for the first time in probably decades.
Last summer, the Elcho Grange building was looking rough after years of neglect.
The foundation was really bad. The building was sagging. The mortar was gone. The basement was leaking.
But now, after efforts by the Elcho Historical Society, the old Grange has a fresh coat of paint along with a solid foundation, fit for what's perhaps the oldest building in town.
It just was the center focal point of Elcho. And it's so important to preserve that because if we tear everything down, we won't have any history left.
Mijak says preserving Elcho's past is very important to the many members of the group, which has garnered loads of excitement.
Everybody I talk to is really thrilled about this, and it has a really good energy moving forward. There's just a lot of work to do, but a lot of people have helped and have participated in that as volunteers as well.
Elcho's Grange Hall building, which is the future site for the Elcho Historical Museum, held an open house over the weekend showing off the progress they've made over the past year. Residents had the opportunity to view the completed basement of the future museum, as well as time to socialize to talk about the project's future. Greg Mijak, the treasurer of the Historical Society, says he is thrilled to see what the interest in what is perhaps the oldest building in Elcho.
And we're currently applying for our National Historical registration. And we eventually want to turn this in again to the focal point of the community and hold events here.
The Grange Hall is one of the oldest buildings in the town of Elcho. In 1923, a deadly fire destroyed the town, leaving only the Grange behind. Debbie Mijak, the secretary, says historical places are so important to save so the next generation can see it as well.
And there are very few Grange buildings left, so it's really important that we focus on saving those, and in turn, it then becomes our museum.
Retirement can be a time of relaxation and taking a step back.
But it can also be an opportunity to take a step forward, and that's the case for a retired couple in Elcho that received a Hometown Hero Award for their efforts in the community. Newswatch 12's Kyle Pazorski joins us to share why. Kyle?
Well, Dan, Debbie and Greg Mijak have worked tirelessly in retirement as election inspectors, EMS volunteers, as well as becoming active HOA and Historical Society members. Today, the two were presented with the Modern Women of America Hometown Hero Award for their continued efforts to make Elcho a better community.
There could be 50 to 75 people listed on this plaque.
Although many people in Elcho could be considered hometown heroes, there perhaps is none more deserving than Debbie and Greg Mijak.
A lot of these non-for-profits don't have a lot of people that volunteer their time or their expertise.
It was in 2016 when Greg and Debbie Mijak permanently retired in Elcho, But instead of resting, the couple stays busy volunteering their time with multiple groups and causes in town.
So it's great for retirees. So I would encourage you to get involved and stay active in your community.
Richard Parks presented the award on behalf of the Modern Women of America, saying Debbie and Greg fit the bill for someone in Lane Lake County who has helped to make their community a better place.
We got involved and did a couple of matching funds projects with them, and their leadership on these projects came shining through.
And for Debbie, who was holding back tears of joy, the honor meant the world to know her efforts are not going without notice.
I just really enjoy working with everybody that's in the town on that building, and it's just such a positive experience.
One of the most tangible pieces of their continued efforts includes work on the Grange Hall, which will eventually become home of the Elcho Historical Society Museum. That work all made possible by volunteers like Debbie and Greg.
Progress continues to be made on the future home of the Elcho Historical Society Museum. Take a look at this. On Wednesday, half of the roof of the Grange Hall building was ripped off to make way for a new one. Then today, preparations were made for putting on the shingles, which will take another 2 or 3 work days. Built in 1911 by the Modern Woodmen of America, the building has been bought and sold a few times over the past century before the Historical Society decided to begin refurbishing it to be the group's museum and headquarters. Newswatch 12 will continue to bring you coverage of the project as it goes on. The Elcho Historical Society is working on converting an old building to a new home for a museum.
Today, the group announced a major boost in their fundraising efforts. Here's the old Grange Hall they're renovating. Over the past 2 weeks, the Elcho Historical Society was notified by the Kohler Foundation, the WPS, and Sheldon Charitable Trust that grant applications were accepted. The society will receive $2,500 from the Kohler Foundation, $5,000 from WPS, and $25,000 from Sheldon. Now $120,000 is what's remaining for the society's fundraising goal. Society members are hoping to have the Grange Hall project completed by 2024.